Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, and I cover dating, relationships, love, life, confidence, and that includes self-love and self-care. So subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So, have you ever had heartache or heartbreak? If you have, it really, really sucks. In fact, it more than sucks. It can absolutely devastate you and your life, and it can leave you feeling very broken, very alone, misunderstood, upset, in pain, confused, hurt, bewildered, shocked, numb, and multiple other things I was going to say, or a multitude of other things. It can be really, really tough. And for someone who's not gone through heartache and heartbreak before, it's hard for them to understand why it feels the way it does to you. It's hard for them to understand how you're reacting sometimes and how you just can't get over it like that, you know? And this is because relationships are very complex. They work on multiple levels and multiple layers. And any relationship does affect your physiology, affects you emotionally, affects you spiritually, affects you in physical terms of physical space, unless, of course, you never met the person in real life. But it does still affect your physiology. The emotions you feel are linked closely to your physical reactions. And it can be very, very difficult depending on how that relationship ended, depending on what went on in the relationship, and depending on what kind of conclusions or reflections you've had. Now, I'm using the relationship breakup and heartache and heartbreak I've been through as a time of self-reflection and for understanding myself better, what I need to work on and what I need to heal still. And I've discovered, like, there's past traumas and triggers that I thought I dealt with satisfactorily that clearly I haven't, because the past relationship brought up a lot of those traumas and triggers. Now, at week 6, I have to say it's exactly 6 weeks today to and I was going to say 2 until I should say I split up with my ex, or 6 weeks ago I split up with my ex. It was an actual Monday, and it was around 2:30 something by text. And you might think, like, why did I do it by text? This is because this person didn't really want to speak to me. The last conversation I had with them, they wanted me to get off the phone. So, you know what I mean? And they didn't message me the next morning, and so therefore I knew that that was basically it. But I like to end things officially. I don't like to be the type of person that has things hanging over their head, as in I don't know what's happening. I can't be bothered with that. I need clear cut things. And it's really weird because he did say to me when I first got with him, which is a very strange thing to say, do me a favor, if you do split up with me, just like message me and let me know that's what you're doing. So I know know clearly that you've done that. Don't just go and ghost me. But that's weird considering he completely deleted his whole Facebook profile. So yeah, he didn't ghost me completely, but yes. Do others as you would want done to yourself is my philosophy. So if you don't want that or don't like it done to you, why do it to someone else? Why not just, like, face the truth and speak your mind? But then he wasn't being honest. So over the course of these weeks, about 3 weeks ago, I joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. And I have to say, this has completely shifted my life, because I've gone through his course on breakup. Basically, it's dealing with heartache and heartbreak and how to recover from that, how to move on after heartbreak. I can't go into all the details because you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to divulge all the content from the Love Life Club because it's copyrighted to Matthew, and obviously it's exclusive for his Love Life Club members. But with the Love Life Club, it's brilliant because you get coaching every week. I was going to say or a training. Sometimes, like, it's coaching, often it's coaching, or I think this coming week is book training. Well, it's like coaching around the Love Life book the Matthews brought out. So it's like I'd say mixture of coaching and training, because it's like going more into depth into the meaning behind the Love Life book and giving you extra advice. And there's a number of courses in the Love Life Club. There's, like, very specialists on different topics, as well as a series of specialists on different topics. And the whole point of the Love Life Club is to make your life better and make your relationship with yourself and other people better. It covers 3 areas: love, which in terms of love yourself and love other people, and the way you interact with yourself and the way you interact with other people. And it's about loving life. So it's about dealing with yourself, people, and life, those 3 areas. And I really like that. And the first 2 weeks I have actually had live coaching from Matthew and his wife. The first week I was actually on video. I was in tears because I was really, really upset and in so much pain when I joined this club. I mean, I was in bits, like the worst someone could probably see me, especially strangers. Like, I said I'd go live, but I was a wreck, basically. I was really so upset. And so the second week was a message I put in the chat, and then his wife and him answered that. And then last week there was coaching, but I was in the chat, like, saying things, giving my support and saying things to people who are being coached, but I wasn't being coached directly one to one in front of the group on that occasion. But in his Love Life Club, it's great because you do get challenges and things like that. You get workbooks, which obviously I can't reveal what the workbooks have got in them and stuff like that. But it's really amazing. You get community, so you can interact with other members. You can actually, I think, message other members, so I haven't done that yet. You can kind of follow people on there. You've got your own profile. And there's Matthew AI, which is like a 24-hour love coach. It's the AI version of Matthew himself. Now, Matthew has been a love coach for, well, dating relationships coach for 17 years now. And on his channel, he's got over 3 million subscribers. I thought he had like 500 million views because I read that somewhere, but the channel analytics have come out a bit less than that. They come out millions of views. Oh, actually, it's 500 million in it. So that'd be like 500 million. So yeah. Yes, that's probably correct then, because I was looking at the millions rather than the 500 million. Because obviously, like, yeah, my maths is not great. So yeah, I think it's really amazing that I've joined this club, worth every penny and so much more. I've just done the one course so far. I've gone through his Love Miss film that I got as a freebie with his book when I bought it at a certain time. And there's also a series with that, like Happiness After Heartbreak series, which I did. But in his actual Love Life Club, I've done the Heartbreak course now, and the last modules were amazing. I haven't done all the workbook stuff, but I think like the last modules I did were 5 to 8, and it's like an 8-part video series, and they're absolutely incredible. That was the best stuff that shifted my mindset forward. And one of the quotes that I remember the most from what Matthew said on like his last videos, I've got it actually over there. I'm going to read it out to you. Don't settle for a life reduced to telling the same old story. Go out and live a new one. Wait or create, it's up to us. That's a Matthew Hussey quote. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I'm an author. I can write whatever story I want to my life. And if I create a new life, I can write more Diary Confessions book and have more Diary Confessions adventures that I can bring you behind the scenes on. And it's just going to be fantastic. And I'm like, I don't want to have an old story playing all the time. I want a new story. That's very important, especially as a writer, to keep having new stories, right? And that really like kind of shifted my mindset. And when he said it's wait or create, it's up to us. It is. It's all about creating your new life. Creating meaning going out and creating a new life, creating something different, doing something different. You know, and that may mean changing some items around in your home, which I've already done some of that. It's very interesting because he talks about reclaiming power in like different areas of your life to do where your ex might have been. And I've already been doing that myself, because I've been changing some stuff around in my home on purpose for that. And I've actually been going to some of the places I went with my ex and putting fresh new memories in there. So he talks about this, but I've already done it. So when I went to Exeter Pride, for example, it was in the same park which was where I kissed him on the Saturday before we broke up on the Monday. So this would be like 6 weeks and 2 days ago. We're in the actual park, but Exeter Pride was in that park. And at first I'm like, oh my God, it's the park we kissed him. But I'm like, no, Go and don't worry about that. Create some new memories because this extra prize amazing event is going to be beautiful for you. You can have loads of great memories there. And so whenever you go there now, that's the memories you're gonna think about and use the most. There's also a bench where I kissed a guy, not my ex, but a guy I dated from Facebook dating, another guy who was a liar. All of them from Facebook dating have been liars. All the guys I've dated from there. I'm off that app now. And there was two girls sat on a bench, and I think they're probably lesbians. I'm not sure if they were friends with lesbians, but it was extra pride, so I'm guessing they were girlfriends. I'm not sure. But anyway, I said, "Can I just sit down a bench quickly because I need to have a drink," which I did drink some water, it was true. But I kind of used that as an excuse to sit on the bench because I was going to sit on that bench anyway, but they got to it before me because I knew that's where I kissed a Pakistani guy that I dated. And I kind of had bad memories from that because I got upset because that guy lied to me as well later. So I thought put some good memories in there. So I did, and I sat on that bench, and the two girls, obviously, they seemed like they really cared about each other, loved each other, or what. So I'm feeling good about being on that bench with them, because I didn't stay on there very long, but just getting the love feeling that they had between them, it gives me good feelings. Do you know what I mean? So the things I've been doing, I've got rid of a couple of things in my home. It's not loads. I've been changing some stuff around in my home. That's really helped. But doing Bob Baker affirmations every single morning, that one habit, I'm pushing myself to get new habits. And that's a habit now I've got into. So every morning, when I wake up, I'm usually having Simprove, which is good bacteria for my body. I have to have at least 10 minutes before I eat any food to digest through my system anyway. And then I'm going to listen to Bob Baker affirmations. So I'm putting positive talk into my head. And I have to tell you, my self-esteem's gone up since I've done that. My self-worth's gone back up. My self-love's gone back up. You know what I mean? Like, so Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club and the quote about creating a new story. Like, you can just wait and tell the old story, create a new story. I'm like, I want to create a new story, along with the changes I'm making in my life, the positive change I'm making, like putting Bob Baker's affirmations in. I cannot tell you how much that's changed my life. I've just joined Bob Baker's inspirational tribe on Facebook, which I'm so happy about. And I was actually on his live stream in chat yesterday. I didn't even know he goes live. He's an incredible guy. I mean, literally the positivity I've got. I didn't even realize how much my self-worth had gone down in that relationship because of the criticism I had from my ex in it. Because he made me feel like I was an irritant to him in the end. He made me feel like a burden or something. Like I shouldn't even exist or something. You know what I mean? And like I'm the one with the problem. I'm not the liar. I'm not the deceiver. He was. He admits, about lying. So it's horrible, that he tracked me like that. When I looked at red flags as well on the internet, like he said, "Oh, red flags." I was just before I even, without even clicking on the actual page, it said like 3 red flags. Uh Dishonest, manipulates, and basically, like shuts down in conversations, gives you the silent treatment was actually the words. I'm like, my ex did all of those 3. I'm like, oh my God. So now I see that his character wasn't good for me because in Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, it always talks about you need to focus on character traits of a person, not attraction. And most people automatically focus on the attraction, the chemistry that you have for that person. Like if the person's really good looking, you focus on that instead of focusing on the character traits. And if you actually look at the character traits and you be realistic about it and stop wearing rose tinted glasses, you actually look at it the cold light of day and you look, how did that person actually make you feel? And just imagine, like, if you'd stayed with that person for years. Even yesterday, I think I did a personal development video on YouTube. I can't remember if it's yesterday or the day before as well. And that was like a done by a business guy, but he's a personal development guy as well. And one of the things he said on there is when you look back at an old relationship, just and you think, oh my God, I'm so relieved now I wasn't in that anymore. Because if you look back and think, if I'd have stayed with that person, how would my life have turned out? And if I was like, with me, I was feeling like not good about myself in the end because the person wasn't good about my personality, about myself and the stuff, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize that. until recently how bad I was feeling in that relationship. Like, well, I guess I knew it, but not consciously enough. Because at the end of the day, like, that's why it's triggered me as well, you know? And so I'm like, wow, you know, like, I know that that person was no good for me now. I know that person wasn't a good person. Like, someone who's dishonest is not a good person. You know, it's not good to be dishonest. It's not good to deceive and this type of stuff. These are not good character traits. So I don't blame myself anymore for their bad behavior. I don't blame myself for the relationship ending. In fact, I know I was probably the instigator of the relationship ending because I was saying that I couldn't lower my standards for that person in a way, because I was saying that I can't, you know, I can't accept someone being late to video calls and expecting me to just be happy with them turning up whenever they feel like it. You know, and I do have standards and stuff, and I do have needs that in the end he wasn't meeting, and he lied saying he was going to meet them and didn't, you know? And so he gave me a false sense of security, a false sense of hope. All these type of things are just horrible. Right? I wish him the best of luck. I hope he sorts his shit out like I will sort my shit out. Like I said, I use this as a time for reflection and learning. So I have to, you know, I clearly have like a lot of work to do on myself for staying in that type of relationship or attracting that type of guy, being with that type of guy in the first place, you know? So this is a time for self-reflection. This is a time for me to heal. This is a time for me to learn and grow about myself. This is a time when I can improve myself. I'm not interested in having a relationship at all again at the moment. You know, so I'm much more happier being single because I've raised my self-worth. I've raised my self-esteem. I feel a lot more good about being single. Like, I've gone out to the cinema on my own. You know, there's stuff I'm struggling with now, especially physically, because I've got back injury and my ribs are hurting, even though I told you I get very flexible. I've got that going, and I feel I need more help physically in that way. And that is getting to me a bit, you know, that's a bit, that's not the greatest thing in the world, you know, to kind of like rely on other people, even though, you know, my best friend is amazing, for example, but you know what I mean? I kind of like rely on them for certain things, help and stuff. So, you know, it's kind of hard when you're in pain when you do housework and stuff. But I digress. Anyway, the point of this video is I have come on leaps and bounds. I'm much happier being single again. I'm much more comfortable in my own home. A lot of the memories of him are fading now. I can talk a bit more about the situation without getting so upset. I feel empowered. I feel like I've got a lot more to offer the world. I feel I'm getting on with my work, and I'm nailing my work more. I'm trying to catch up on my work because there's a lot of stuff that I've kind of left, not just because of him, but because, you know, I was very sick in February. I hardly did any work in February. I was very, very poorly. And I met him in March, so partway through March. So um you know what I mean? It's been hard for me this year so far with health and stuff. So I just wanted to share with you, you know, what is working, like putting the Bob Baker affirmations, you know, it reprograms your mind, it like rewires your mind. Having constant positive affirmations in your head is just incredible, you know? And so having like, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm amazing, I'm powerful, I'm special, I'm having a great day, life is amazing, life is incredible, all these type of positive things constantly every time you wake up. When you wake up, usually you're in something called the alpha state. I don't know if you know about brainwaves and different states, but it's kind of known that you're meant to be in an alpha state. And this means basically that when you wake up, the first 10 minutes, especially when you absorb a lot of information, and this is how you can reprogram your mind, and also when you go to sleep. And so instead of looking at your phone and programming your mind for distraction and reaction, you should actually soak in positive affirmations to reprogram your mind about yourself and your life. And I have to say, you know, Bob Baker affirmations has literally, I feel, saved my life, as in it's turned my life around from negative to positive again, from being really happy being single, from loving myself a lot more, for seeing the beauty in myself, for seeing the kindness in myself, for seeing the caringness in myself, for seeing the love I have for myself, for seeing the comfortability I have now, the relaxation when I go to a movie. Like, this movie today I watched, and yesterday movie, I didn't actually go to the toilet at all in, which is amazing for someone who's got anxiety inducement, because even in the cinema I usually go a lot. but my body's actually calming down a lot more now. My nervous system is calming down a lot more so that I'm able to get more work done. I'm able to like lean into being at home more on my own again. I'm able to like feel better and more relaxed because I'm a lot more positive about being single. My mind has shifted from being in a relationship to being single again. That has taken some time to do. I mean, we're on the 6th week, but thank God it's happened on the 6th week. You know what I'm saying? Because I was happy being single before I met him, and I'm really happy being single now. Again, especially happy being single. I have had a guy approach me on Facebook, which was not a good guy. He was a red flag guy, so I blocked him as well. He was Indian. Red flag guy. It wasn't good. I'll probably do another video about that. But anyway, getting back to what is good, when you form a new habit and you make a new habit in your life that you haven't done before, a habit means, again, habitually doing it over and over, right? Then it not only reprograms your mind if it's a good thing, which the affirmations are, it also means your life has changed. It shifts your life just by making a small shift, by getting one new habit. It actually makes a huge difference to your life. And because you're in a different routine to what you were when you were with that person, for example, it means that your life has already moved on in that way. So you've kind of got something else to show for it. Do you know what I mean? You've got a new habit, a new way of life, a new way of doing things, means your life has already changed and you've already changed because you're doing something different. This is why it's so important, if you have heartache and heartbreak, to go and do different things, to get out of your comfort zone, to form new daily habits. It can be just one habit can change your life. This new habit is changing my life. Because I was feeling really down about myself. I didn't even realize how much I lacked self-worth and self-confidence and self-esteem since being in that relationship, how much it was down and since I came out of it. And I'm like, oh my God. Now I realize, I'm like, what the hell happened? But no, I'm back. Sandra's back. I feel more comfortable. I feel connected to myself the majority of the time again. I'm not saying everything's perfect, but I feel more connected to God and the universe. I feel more connected to my mission. I feel more connected to my work again. I feel like I'm getting on with my work. I'm moving forward. I think I've got more used to being off dating sites now, which has taken some time because I'm on a dating site detox. I mean, I have got Badu premium account back, right? But I haven't actively been on that. I've been logged in, I think, 3 times now just to check my account's still active and then gone back out again. If I'm honest, when I do see people have liked my profile and I don't do anything, I'm thinking, oh, it does make me feel good. And it's really weird because I was reflecting on something, right? That we shouldn't look for external validation from other people, right? But when you think about it and you actually consider it, like, even if you're doing positive affirmations, which are a good thing to reprogram your mind, that's still like validation from outside of you because you're still having someone else's voice say these things to you. But yet this is healthy because you're reprogramming your mind. You're using the affirmations as a tool to reprogram your mind to be happier, to be healthier in the mind, to be feeling good. So I think if we dive into external validation and we see all the components of that, how much good stuff actually comes from external validation? How much does external validation actually change our life for the better, so long as we don't rely on it, you could argue? But then I'm doing the affirmations every day because that's a new good habit. But you could say that's still external validation because you're still having someone else's voice in your head. Of course, you could create your own affirmations. I have got an affirmations video, more than one actually, but a more recent one this year, 21 asexual affirmations video. So do go and give that a listen. That's my own voice. And so I was just thinking about this. And also, because I have been on dating sites for 10 years, active on them, which I'm currently not anymore because I'm on a healing journey now. I'm taking a break. I don't even know if I'll go back on them. I think I'm really like thinking not as much as possible, But if I think about being on dating sites for 10 years and the external validation I got, it really was amazing for me in terms of looks. Because my confidence now about my looks is so rock solid and good. For me, I don't care what people think. If people don't, whatever people think is up to their business. But Even in that relationship, that's the one thing I still held on to and was strong about was my looks. Like, even though he wasn't good, he made the remark about him being better looking than me, which I think it's a horrible thing to say. And it did hurt me at the time. But the next day I'm like, you're not better looking than me. And I was so proud of me for saying that. And I still love my looks. I love my looks so much. So even though I lack confidence in other ways because of the outcome of that relationship and obviously the past traumas and triggers that came up that I need to clearly work on myself, then, I just am so happy that I've got into a good place with my looks. But that is because I've been on dating sites for 10 years with guys in my inbox telling me I'm beautiful, I'm good looking, I'm gorgeous, sexy, hot, or whatever they were saying to me. You know what I mean? If you have that for 10 years, it's like 10 years of evidence that you look really good looking to multiple guys, right? Of course that counts for something. Of course, if you got 10 years of different guys saying that to you and different guys liking your profile. I mean, on Badoo, I used to get hundreds of likes, and this is just by my profile picture because loads of them don't even read the bio. They just see my face, my beautiful face. I don't even wear makeup most of the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm just natural and smiling. So for me, it's really helped me. Being on dating sites has helped my confidence. Having external validation, I'd say I needed that probably, which is weird saying you need it, but you know what I mean? It's rubbed off on me. It's now I believe it myself categorically, and I do find myself attractive because I program myself that way. So it's not just that, I program myself in the mirror to say I look gorgeous or whatever. I program myself that when I'm going into the city, tell myself I look gorgeous. Especially in some of the clothes I wear, I'm like, oh my God, you're so gorgeous, Sandra. To myself, for self-confidence, So I would say that my looks are still really, really rock solid. And that really is predominantly to dating sites, as well as reprogramming my mind using positive affirmations to myself, the combination of those two things. So I think sometimes external validation, if we use it as a tool for the time being, can be a good tool to use. It's when you like just rely on that and like you feel like down and bad about yourself if that external validation ends. So I have to admit, when I go on Badoo, even though I don't like look at people's, search through people's profiles or anything like that, even the few times I've logged in just to see like I'm getting likes still, when I haven't even been on there, it's like, okay, that is really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, some people don't get many likes. Why should I be unhappy about that? Of course it's good. I mean, it's not good they don't read your bio. It's shit. Excuse my language. But, of course it's good that, if loads of people think I'm good looking. And, I mean, how can that be a bad thing? I mean, it could be a bad thing in terms of all they're after is looks. That could be the bad thing, right? Which probably it is. But, it does work in your favor sometimes. So, by putting positive affirmations in, it does reprogram your mind. Just like if you do negative stuff all the time, it'll program your mind for negative stuff. That's why we've got to be really careful what we consume, what we think about, what we read, what we, like what we say, what we think, we do, all this type of stuff. The more positive it is, the more elated we'll feel in ourselves and our life. So the last couple of times I've been to the cinema, today and yesterday, there were kids' movies that I really loved. They were great fun. They had all the elements that I really like about movies for kids. And, I felt so good going to the cinema, just getting out, being on self dates again. Self dating has really helped me grow my confidence back again. Putting on my best clothes, a nice black skirt, nice top off the shoulders. I wear quite a lot. Looks like I'm going clubbing really, but I think I look sexy and hot even though I'm asexual, And I'm thinking, oh God, I love your skin, Sandra. I love your shoulder. I love your hair. I love your face. I love the way you look in that. You know what I mean? So all this is really good. I'm going up the street telling myself this. I'm like, tell yourself more. Come on, rev yourself up because it is far better to get internal validation than external validation. It's far better for us to tell ourselves these things, right? So the fact I'm doing that is great, and this is all helping to get over my ex. I see now what bad character traits he has, despite the fact he looked sweet and innocent at the beginning. I see what he did. I see that he lied in the beginning as well. And I accepted that in the time and forgave him, But there's only so much time and so many times you can give. I can see now that we're not a good match. I can see that he was no good for me. I can see that if I'd stayed with him, I would have just got more and more miserable and been in more emotional and physical pain. I can see that I'm glad that I got out of a relationship with someone who didn't appreciate me in the end, took me for granted in the end, didn't care enough about me in the end, and wasn't a good guy for me. I can see that now. Does it mean to say I haven't got work to do on myself? Of course I got work to do on myself. I realized that I had lost a lot of my identity in that relationship. And that isn't a good thing. That's something I obviously need to work on. Why am I doing that? What's going on? What am I doing to have that situation? Obviously, if someone's blurring your reality because they're trying to manipulate you, then it's going to make you disconnected from yourself anyway. And, it is going to make you question yourself and all sorts of weird stuff. And, it can mean that you lose you feel like you're losing yourself because you don't really know what's going on. You're kind of like, what's the truth, right? But now I see the truth. I see this person was no good for me. I see that their behavior was no good. Their character traits was not good to me. Of course there was some good stuff. Of course there was good times I had with them. Of course we had laughs and jokes and smiles sometimes. It wasn't, I've said that. But I can see the reality a lot more now. I'm a lot more sobered up, if you know what I mean. Rather than drunk on like romance love feelings, I'm more sobered up on the reality of the situation. I'm more loving myself. So the love I was having for him is like redirected to myself now. It's like in my body, in my soul. I'm pumping myself up. I'm loving myself so much more. And I truly feel a shift in me. Like I wanted a shift, but I feel the shift now. I'm like, you really shifted back to yourself. You've really remembered who you are, Sandra. You remembered who Sandra Bellamy is, the single solo artist of life, the person that loves herself, the person that gets excited to see herself, the person gets excited for life because she's living with herself. The fact that I don't have a dull moment. It's never boring. It's always exciting. Overall, when I say never have a dull moment, I still get down a bit, especially because of my back and rib problems at the moment. That isn't good. And sometimes I do get upset about that, but overall, like when I go out to cinema and stuff, I'm just feeling so good. I'm like, I love the clothes you're wearing. I love the look you've got. I'm feeling gorgeous. I'm feeling sexy and hot in myself, and that's just amazing, to actually feel that myself. I don't even mind a guy calling me sexy and hot, so long as he doesn't expect me to have sex with him. But I like calling myself that, and I feel that all the kind of love feelings I had for him has just been redirected now back to myself. I'm able to love myself again. I'm able to see the beauty in myself. I'm able to see the kindness in myself. I did start writing down things I liked about myself because I didn't even do that for a long time, and I kind of forgotten what I liked about myself because this person was very critical of me. This ex in the end made me feel like an irritant. And I have felt that in a situation in the past. I'm not going to divulge and go into all that, but there's been situations where I felt that in the past and it triggered and brought the triggers and traumas up. And now I remember, like, why would you be with someone who finds you an irritant? Why would you even hang out with a guy who finds you an irritant, Because you love yourself. You get excited to be with you. You love being with yourself. When you're on your own, your anxiety is very manageable because you know where you stand with yourself. You're back in control of your own life. You're back in control of your emotions. You're back into leading a much happier life. You're much more relaxed and calm. You haven't got anyone messing you around, anyone lying to you, anyone deceiving you. The world is your oyster. You've got so much good stuff that can happen for you. And you can just focus on getting your whole life restructured, better, and sorted out. You've got no one now like putting you down or belittling you. I'm free. I am free to be me again, Sandra Bellamy, who I actually love and adore, and I care about this girl, So I just feel so much better, like redirecting the love to myself, breaking the chains with them emotionally, like I feel much more attached to myself now. For a long time, I felt disconnected from myself. I'm still connected to them. Now I feel back connected to myself, and I hope it stays that way. I'm going to do whatever in my power. So, it's not that I never think about him in my day, but I usually most of the time I'm busy doing other stuff now, which is kind of much more important than thinking about my ex, and I'm more important than my ex to me, and I really love my life a lot more, and I've got so much I need to do. I've had like like a training tonight which was really good. for the experts bureau I'm in. So whenever I do like personal professional development stuff, it feels so good. I feel like what more I work on myself, the more I advance myself, the better I feel about myself. So I would definitely say, do some courses, get a coach or mentor in what you like and love, pay people to give you specialist knowledge, take that knowledge, turn it into action, do stuff with it, and start coming up with solutions. The more solutions you come up to issues and problems in your life, the better you'll feel, rather than just focus on the problem. So if we focus on the problem, we just go around in circles, right? But I'm so glad now I see the reality, and I'm so glad I can call it out. I felt bad about saying bad stuff about him before, but I don't now. Why should I feel bad about telling the truth? He was lying to me. Why should I feel bad about that? He seems happy to be a liar, so why should I feel bad about it? You know what I mean? Because I have this thing in me that I don't like to speak bad of people, but at the end of the day, dishonesty is a really bad character trait, you know? Deception is a really bad character trait. Manipulation is a really bad character trait. Turning up late and not caring about the other person's time and is disrespectful and not a good character trait. Taking someone for granted is not good. Making someone feel like an irritant for who they actually are is not good. Putting someone down is not good. Like, none of these things are good. None of these things are good character traits. Why should I hide these character traits about what he was like? Why should I? Am I saying I'm perfect? No. And am I saying that I did everything right in the relationship? No, I'm not saying that. I'm here to learn from what happened and to heal myself as much as possible. It might be that I'm better off being single for the rest of my life. It might be that I don't get on in relationships in the end, and I need to just be single because I do have an anxiety condition. But having said that, the right person would be kind and caring always about my anxiety, and would want to, as long as I'm helping myself as much as possible, would want to like work with me on that, because in the beginning he was fine about my anxiety. He was very kind and caring about it, then all of a sudden turned the opposite way, to his advantage. So, if someone uses your own disability against you, it's not a good guy that does that, right? It's not safe. I felt safe with him in the beginning, like he provided a safe space for me, but in the end, it wasn't like that. So, well, falsely, I thought it was like that, but it wasn't. So, what I mean? Why should I hide these things, right? I still wish him well. I wish him the best of luck, the best of love. Hope he finds the girl of his dreams. You know, that's fine, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hide this stuff. Why should I hide it? I do this channel to educate and inform people, and I have to say, if you're with someone who's got these character traits in a relationship, then leave. If you look up red flags on the internet, you'll see lying is what abusers and narcissists and people who have got issues that aren't good for you, you know, that's what's going on, basically. If you look up red flags on the internet, you'll see lying's a red flag. You'll see dishonesty, red flag. You'll see deception's red flag. You'll see manipulation's red flag. You'll see someone not respecting someone's boundaries and time, a red flag. You'll see all these things, right? Does it mean to sound perfect? No. But I'm just saying, like, I have to tell you, I actually have an obligation to you on this channel to tell you the truth. And to say there was character traits, but I forgave him for lying in the beginning. I forgave him. Not in the end, I didn't, but in the beginning, I did. Well, so should I have forgiven him for that? I usually wouldn't. And he lies, and I'd be like, I'm not interested. Because usually it breaks trust, right? Once the trust is broken, you can't get it back usually. And so, I accept things I wouldn't usually accept. I accepted behaviors I wouldn't usually accept. And that's on me. I did that. It's my responsibility. I decided to get into a relationship quickly when he wanted to get into a relationship quickly with me. I decided to do that, right? And I was the one who said, I'm not doing certain things unless I'm in a relationship with you, because I won't do certain things, that's reserved for a relationship. I was the one who said that, I'm the one who feels like I've been triggered and got, the whole thing was traumatic, which it was. If someone gives you false sense of security and hope, it's not good, is it? It's traumatic. So, I've clearly got stuff to work on myself, right? Which that's why I joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. That's why I'm seeking solutions out and to increase my knowledge. So there's stuff I've got to work on as well, right? So I think, using this as a time for reflection and healing is a very important thing to do. If you've had a breakup, you can use it as time for reflection, healing, and growth, which is what I'm using it for. When we turn our pain into our personal power, it transforms us in ways that is incredible and feels good to us. This means we still got to go through a grieving process. This means we've got to face the emotions that we actually feel. This means we have to cry. This means we have to not suppress and repress and take that crap to another relationship, right? This means facing the truth. And obviously, if there's deception involved, it's hard to know what's the truth. But the truth I know is dishonesty and lying is not good. Deception is not good. Manipulation is not good. None of those things are good. And that was what he was doing. I wasn't doing that stuff to him, right? So we have to look at it in the cold, hard light of day. The realistic stuff. The not, oh, I don't want to speak badly of him type of stuff. The actual truth. That actual truth, right? These things are not good, right? So I wish him the best of luck. I hope he works on these things. I don't just hope, I know that I'm going to be working on myself, because bringing up past traumas and triggers isn't good. And obviously that means I need to work on things. The fact that I felt like I lost my identity in the end, like with the breakup, being in that relationship, is like something I clearly need to work on. That's my responsibility of why did I feel that way? Why did it get to that stage? What happened with me? Self-reflection is key here. Like what behaviors did I tolerate that I shouldn't have done? What was I feeling inside? What was I thinking inside? What was I worried about? What abandonment issues did it bring up? All these type of things, So we have to use these experiences rather than self-defeating and just deflecting, to look at the cold, hard truth, which is the things that you feel that wasn't good coming from the other person, but also own up to the fact that you're not perfect and you still have work to do on yourself as well. And you take responsibility for your part of the relationship, not their behavior and their part, your part. That's what we have to do, because we have to progress and become better people from our pains. If not, it's all in vain, isn't it? It's much better to turn your personal pain into your power and transform yourself, and basically take something that's rotting and turn it into a beautiful flower again, than it is to sit there continually rotting in the ground till you basically rot away and there's nothing more left of you. Do you understand what I mean? So it's all about putting your broken pieces back together to form a mosaic of strength and power within you. So this means rebuilding from the ground up again. And it means accepting that you have some shattered pieces, but we can put these shattered pieces together and we can transform ourselves and transmute ourselves into a better vessel for us, and a better one for future relationships, be that a friendship, an acquaintance, or an actual romantic relationship if you're romantic, for example. So I hope you can see how my life has changed for the better, because my mindset is much better now. My mind is sobered up now on the truth, instead of feeling all the love and romance feelings, which is something I feel I can talk about now, because I kind of feel like all that love's redirected to me, or the majority of it's redirected to me now. My affirmations that I'm doing from Bob Baker's channel, it's incredible. Google Bob Baker affirmations, change your life. But I'm forcing myself. I say forcing myself to do it every morning, because of course, in order to get into a new habit, you have to force yourself to do it. if you're not used to doing something, you have to force yourself to do it and to become second nature to you until you feel bad about not doing a good habit. I'm talking about, not a bad habit. We should be obsessed with good habits and peed off at ourselves for bad habits and change them. Well, actually, it's not too good to be totally peed off with yourself, because you don't want to criticize yourself too much. But we need to be getting to new habits. And we do have to force ourselves to do new habits for a while, because they're new and we can end up distracted and doing other things if not. But I feel bad if I don't do my Bob Baker affirmations now for my mindset. Do you know what I mean? I feel bad about that. So instead of feeling bad about a relationship, I guess my feeling bad is more redirected to, like, I felt bad if I don't keep the habit of myself. And also, by making sure I self-date and keep the promise of going to the cinema for myself, I'm actually keeping promises to myself, and that builds self-trust again and self-confidence. So if you find that your self-trust and self-confidence has gone down, your self-worth, self-esteem, the one thing that you can do to help yourself is to make times for yourself. Self-dates particularly is very important, and you carve out a time for yourself in your life, in your diary and schedule, and you make sure you show up for yourself. This means even if I don't feel like going to the cinema because it's like, oh, I could stay an extra couple of hours in bed and get more sleep, I'm going to the cinema. I'm setting my alarm. I'm getting up earlier than I would usually do. And I'm like, you're going to do this. And I was actually upset before I went to the cinema this morning, not about my ex, but about the fact of, my back and ribs in pain and having to rely on, another person to help me, basically, because I feel like an invalid more with that. But the reality of the situation, I do need more help at the moment because I am in a lot of pain. I can do a lot for myself still in general, but it's like crouching down, anything like lifting, like in Tesco. So I was asking them to pick the basket up for me to put on the, to put the till, so it causes me less pain, So I did do some shopping today, but I did some yesterday, trying to do it in bits so not to overload myself, but it does cause me more pain. But it's like doing certain movements where I'm bending down's the worst. So, so that has caused me some upset. But in general, as soon as I went to the cinema, I felt better. It's like a complete shift in my vibration. It's like it feels magical because the cinema feels so magical to me. And I would encourage you to do whatever makes you feel magical and special and excitable and happy. The more we pump positive emotions into ourselves, the more the negative gets drowned out, and the more the positive vibrations take over our body, our minds, and our souls. So we can finally feel free to be ourselves again, our beautiful selves, our vibrant selves, our energetic selves. And we can stop focusing on people that put us down and don't appreciate us for who we are. And it's like, fine, if you don't appreciate for me for who I am, it's good you're out of my life now, isn't it? I don't need that shite in my life, excuse my language. What I need to do is feel good and happy and positive about myself and get to love myself again, get to fall in love with myself all over again. And I think that's what you should be doing. If you've gone through a pain crisis, a trauma, you know, I want you to take some time out for you and just think of how much you can love yourself, how much you can fall in love with yourself all over again, because you've been given a new chance at life, a new lease of life. Just imagine if you'd stayed with someone. Imagine if I'd stayed with someone who's criticizing me like that all the time and putting me down. I mean, my God, I would be even more of a nervous wreck than I was in the end of that relationship, I even said to him, it's not sustainable the way I'm feeling. And he knew that, which is probably why he behaved in part the way he did about going to leave me without fully leaving me. And I had to cut off from him eventually in the end. I mean, he pretty much cut off from me, but I just officially ended it. You know what I'm saying? Because he could, if he'd been the good guy I thought he was in the beginning, and then it wouldn't, but even in the beginning he was lying. So he wasn't really a good guy. I forgave him for that. So I was kind of discounting that. But if you look at it, the big scheme of things, it's not good. He was lying from the beginning, is it, Sandra? Whether you forgave him or not, it's still not good. It means he was dishonest from the beginning, right? And it ended in dishonesty with him as well. So you know what I mean? Most people start as they mean to go on, unfortunately. But I forgave him for that. So I was looking at his good qualities in the beginning. You know what I mean? But when someone's not really as good a guy as they make out, then slowly these cracks start to show, don't they? And then very fast they start to show because they can't keep up. I was going to say, yeah, actually the cracks show fast, not slow. But anyway, so I just appreciate myself a lot more now. I'm loving myself a lot more. I'm so happier with the way I look now. I'm so happy being my own home again. I feel like, a lot of the negative vibes from that relationship's gone now. Not completely, probably 100%, but a lot of them have. I don't focus on his face anymore. I focus on my face. What I really did to help myself as well is I tried to picture a photograph of myself in place of him. So at the moment, I'm thinking about the photograph I took at Extra Pride when someone painted my face. You can see it, I think, on the community tab here. Someone painted a rainbow picture on my face when I went to the Extra Pride after party. And if I look at that picture and I just focus on my beautiful smile and nice face and lovely hair and, you know, I just really love the way I look in that photograph. If I picture that instead of him, oh, it makes me feel so much better. So I try and think about myself more now. I try to be on purpose more self-absorbed instead of when I say self-absorbed, I don't mean self-absorbed as in I don't think of other people because now I'm less absorbed in myself in the sense I'm more back to doing stuff in my asexual groups, for example. The UK group I'm focusing on at the moment. I'm going to go around my other asexual groups and get more focused on all of the groups eventually because I have had a slack period with that, I got to admit. Not just because of my ex, because I had ill health in February and stuff like that as well. So, it hasn't been my main focus like it should have been a priority to a certain extent, to do that. So I'm getting back to doing that. So I'm not self-absorbed in the sense of, oh, everything's about me and I'm not in service to other people. I'm still in service to you in this channel. I still want to help you with all aspects of your life as much as possible, right? And one of the ways I do it is by sharing my own asexual life journey in order to help you in your life journey. But I'm more self-absorbed in terms of instead of thinking of him, I'm thinking of myself now. Instead of thinking about any love things for him, I'm thinking about I love myself. Instead of thinking about his looks, I'm thinking about my looks. So everything that was to do with him, most of the time, I've replaced with myself. So I'm thinking about a picture of myself. I'm thinking about my smile. I'm thinking about my body. I'm thinking about my looks. I'm thinking about my clothes. I'm thinking about the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I excitedly look at life. I'm remembering who I am and I'm living into myself again. It's like being back in my own body and my own skin, coming refreshed from a nice break or something. Because I was detached from myself before. I couldn't even remember what my life was like before I met him. But now I remember. I remember it, but in a even better way. It's like I've come back to myself. It's like I'm back in my own body again, at least the majority of the time. And it's like, I know who Sandra Bellamy is now. She's a powerful, strong, beautiful girl who is very kind and caring, who sticks up for asexuals, who fights for asexuals, who gives a voice for asexuals, who wants to fulfill her life mission of getting asexuality recognized as a sexual orientation throughout the globe so no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. She's a passionate writer. She loves writing. She loves making a difference in the world. She's not motivated primarily by money. She's motivated by a sense of responsibility and achievement. Her books are a lasting legacy, so that when she's no longer here on planet Earth, her books will live on for generations to come because they're in libraries, for example, 6 libraries in the UK, and the printed versions of any books I do. And, she believed in a lasting legacy that not only changes lives, but saves them. Saves lives. And that is priceless. That is friggin' priceless. No money in the world can be as good as that, you know? And so I'm just so happy that I'm much more focused on myself now in this scenario, that I'm much more focused on my mission and back to helping asexuals, that my mind has kind of shifted from him to me, to all the beauty about me, to all the things I love about myself, to what I like about myself, to my energy again. My energy is a lot higher now. I feel much better. I feel like, I'm much more on top of the world. The only issues that at the moment really are, primarily on my physical health is causing me some mental distress at the moment, as well as physical distress, and obviously I have been traumatized. Is that the right word? I've been traumatized by this whole thing and been triggered. So I still have some things to work through. I feel I need to try and find a good therapist for that if I can, if it's possible. But the Love Life Club helps with a lot of things because they do have like for example, trainings on narcissistic abuse and how to overcome narcissistic abuse. They have trainings, like I said, they had one on which I've done already, which has really helped me this week, especially to do with breakup, like how to get over a breakup, which is really good. They got a confidence course that I'll be doing. They got attachment style course I'll be doing. So they've got lots of things for me to do. And I've also been learning from other people that's being coached as well, because you learn a lot from other people in the group. Because when you hear their stories and what the character traits are like of the people that are no good for them and what the coaches say, you're like, hell, not only is it hell, but also you recognize the character traits in the person that you've been with. And you're like, oh, shoot, this person is no good for me, was no good for me. Like, it was impossible to have a healthy relationship with that guy in the end. You can't have a healthy relationship with someone who's lying and deceiving and manipulating you, Sandra. Absolutely impossible. And yeah, it's not good, right? So I don't blame myself anymore for that. And, I'm moving on and forward. And I'm using this time to heal myself, like I said, and to make progress and real growth in my life in all areas. I'm very focused on health, though. Very focused on getting my mind sorted, my body sorted, my soul sorted. It's been tough, but I feel I'm a lot more on track now. I feel like I've turned a corner partly, at least in this way. And I'm back to being focused on myself a lot more, which brings a lot more happiness to myself, because we do have to look for internal validation, especially when we've had a lot of negative words and attitude towards us. We have to kind of counteract that by building our self-esteem up and building our self-confidence up again, and self-worth. It's horrible to think you could be in a relationship and it diminish that or lower it in some way, because you should kind of think, oh, well, I'm so strong, it's not going to matter, and I've got such conviction about myself. But at the end of the day, environments do affect you. And if you're in a relationship with someone, of course that person's attitude and the way they are with you is going to affect you. It's just like ignorant, I think, to not think that and to not see that. When we go into like different places in our lives, like supermarkets or crossing the road or anything, like some people could say stuff that might affect you, especially if you don't notice it coming. And yes, we can try and be solid as a rock so people's opinions of us don't affect us. And some of us may achieve that in certain ways, but not in others. But, everyone usually who's had trauma in life at some point would probably get re-triggered again. And it's okay that we're not perfect in life. We're humans. We are not actually robots. We're not AI. Do you know what I mean? We're not artificial intelligence. We have our own emotional intelligence within us, and we can express a range of emotions. It's okay to have a range of emotions. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel hurt and in pain. Why is it we, as a society, just teaches us to embrace like the positive emotions all the time and not embrace any of the negative emotions like they're so bad? But in order to get positive emotions, you need to brace the negative emotions and work through them to get to the positive emotions. Do you see what I mean? So we should be accepting all aspects of ourselves, including the parts where we do get angry, and like look into that. Like, why are we angry? Are we being mistreated? Are we being disrespected? Are we being misunderstood? And what can improve this situation? And we should be feeling that it's okay to be ourselves, that we can always improve ourselves, but we can still be happy with the person we are if we're good enough. We are good enough, we are good enough. We have our own self-worth back again, hopefully. I'm so sorry if you've gone for a breakup or heartache and pain. It really isn't good. It does hurt, whether that person was good or not. If you had love feelings for that person or loved them implicitly, whatever is the case, of course it's going to hurt. And even people who do things that aren't good, you can still often see the beauty and good things about them, especially if you're an empath. You can see the good things. In fact, we often overlook the bad things, the bad characteristic traits, in favor of the good, in favor of the the smiles in favor of the attraction and the way that they made us feel in some ways good. Do you know what I mean? But we have to remember that we have to take the relationship as a whole. Like, how good am I feeling in this relationship the majority of the time? How is their behavior with me the majority of time? Not just on the times that everything's going really well. The true test of a relationship is when things are not going so well and you have to deal with difficult conversations and stuff like that. Because everyday life, you're not always going to be like walking on air. You're not always going to be happy 100% of the time. You're not always going to feel great, are you? Of course not. It's not realistic unless you're completely putting on a false identity, in which case it's not realistic, is it? So we have to be thinking realistic terms, and that's what I love about Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. It's got a lot of practical, logical advice, and he often talks about realism and how it's important to keep things real and stop thinking about the chemical attraction that, like, this is the most attractive I've ever been towards this is the most attractive person, or the most attracted I ever been to a person. This is the like unique bond, and that it might have been a unique bond, but it might have been a bad bond for you. So you have to think there are billions of people out there in the world, and not everyone is like your ex. And so just because your ex, if they weren't good to you, wasn't good to you, doesn't mean to say they're not going to be good with someone else. And also, it doesn't mean to say that someone else can't be good for you, because you deserve the best and you deserve what's good. But in the meantime, please continue to work on yourself. When we leave a relationship, it's far better to actually start our own self journey to self discovery, self love, self inner harmony, and to work on ourselves. It's not good to just get into another relationship. I really don't want a relationship right now. I'm really happy that I'm off dating sites. When I say off dating sites, I mean not active on them. I'm really happy that I'm back to being me. I'm really happy I found myself again. And I want you to know that I love you and I care about you. I care about you on this channel so much. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here right now doing this channel. It means a lot to me. The community here means a lot to me. I want to thank you for your positive comments. They've helped as well. I've had some people in my inbox on Facebook. That's really helped. Thank you to those who watch this channel, and I've also been in my inbox. Thank you to the people who have put positive comments on my channel recently. I really appreciate you. I love it when you say you love my videos. I found a video helpful. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to know that you are helped by my content. It means a lot to me that you're watching this channel when you've got a million other things that you could be doing. Giving me your precious time in life is one of the greatest gifts you can give me. It's one of the greatest gifts we can give anyone. And I do value you and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful for anyone who spends some time with me, not because I think my self-worth is low, or oh, I should just be like not worrying about other people's time, but because I genuinely care. I care about people's time. Time is the most precious asset you can ever have or give to someone, because you can't get time back ever again. So if you're here watching this video now, if you've watched the whole video, thank you so much. And don't forget to post a comment below if you've been watching the whole video all the way through. And now I applaud you if you've been doing that. And I really love you from the bottom of my heart. I'm really happy that you're here. I'm really happy to be on this channel. I'm happy to be helping you in any way. If you want any particular types of videos, please post them down below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Don't forget to grab copies of my books if you haven't already. Diary Confessions, #1 in hot new releases last month. Bestseller. Don't forget to grab a copy of Asexual Perspectives. And also Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. These are all good books from Amazon. And so, yeah, I love you and leave you for now. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to keep smiling, keep being you, and keep loving you. Keep thinking you're awesome. Take care. Thumbs up if you like this video. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Bye.